Good day, everyone. Welcome today to Boxing Trash Talk. My name is Mo, and I'm always here on my channel giving views of what I think of upcoming boxing matches, okay, especially those that interest me. Now, today I'm going to be talking about keys to victory for Kell Brook. Now, before I go there, I want to talk about the fight itself, Amir Khan versus Kell Brook. Now, I honestly believe it's going to be a great fight. I don't think the fight is too old or 5 years old, too late. I believe it's still going to be a good fight. But, it depends on which Amir Khan shows up that night. Because this whole fight will depend on Amir Khan. You see, with Amir Khan starting to think about retirement, and we know that this Kell Brook fight was his cash-out fight. We know that he knew that fight was always going to be there, and it doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter when he took the fight. I was also very sure that the only time Khan was going to take that fight was to cash out. So I believe this is also his, a cash-out fight. Now, and the reason why I'm saying this fight will depend on Amir Khan is because when they get into that fight, and Amir Khan has to dig deep, those little voices in his head might be telling him, look man, it's cash out fight. You don't need to do this. You need to stay healthy. Maybe just do a good showing and get out of this fight. So those voices can influence him. But then again, we know Amir Khan can dig deep when he has to. So it's not if he can, it's whether he wants to. Now, don't worry about Kell Brook. Kell Brook is coming to fight. With all that animosity and hate and jealousy, for whatever reason it's there, Kell Brook is coming to fight. But what do we also know about Kell Brook? If Kell Brook is pressured and doesn't get things his way, I believe he quits. Now, we can argue that point, but I honestly believe when the going gets tough and he doesn't get things his way, he will quit. Now, I still believe this is going to be, with all that being said, I still believe it can be a good fight. I mean, yes, the fight might be 5 years too old, but, they're still both active. They have been, they're the same age, same position in their career. So, and they have just about, not exactly the same experience, but they're experienced enough to put on a good fight. So, in the end, they're equally matched in their ways. Now, there might be a rematch clause, and the only way we believe we will get there, again, depends on Amir Khan. It depends on how Amir Khan does this fight, or, if it goes the distance, how close of a fight it is. But still, it will depend on Amir Khan. Now, this fight has got everything around it that makes it an interesting fight. Now, if they come to fight, then those things, it's bragging rights. They're fighting here for bragging rights, that rivalry, that jealousy, that hate. And they're all still good fighters. So it has all the ingredients of the making of a good fight. Okay? So let's go ahead and talk about the keys to victory for Kell Brook. Now, Kell Brook has a lot of good tools. Kell Brook is a solid fighter. Kell Brook doesn't make too many mistakes and doesn't have too many holes in his game. I think he's a pretty solid fighter. I think when he loses, he is overwhelmed. You can beat Kell Brook by overwhelming him, and you can do it in very many ways. But you're gonna have to find a way to do it because it's not easy. I mean, if you look at the Sean Porter fight, the Errol Spence fight, the Terence Crawford didn't get there, but it shows that if you overwhelm him, then that can be a problem for Kell Brook. So let's go. Keys to victory for Kell Brook. I believe the most important is the jab. He must use his jab. He must use his jab for many reasons. One, to start an attack. Okay, to start an attack, he must implement the jab. he also must use the jab to break the rhythm of Amir Khan. If he can break the rhythm and the offense of Amir Khan by sticking out a very strong jab, I think that's going to work for him. Okay, so that's number one. He needs to implement the jab to break the rhythm of Amir Khan and also to set up his own attack. Now, what I also believe the jab can be used for, which I believe is going to be very effective, jabbing to the body. He must jab to the body and try to set up an overhand right. He must pressure Amir with jab, and he cannot go jab up and down, up and down. He must keep the jab. He must go to the jab to the body and maintain the jab to the body to force Amir Khan to use his hands to block it. Okay, because we know Amir Khan doesn't jump back from a body shot, a jab to the body. He actually tries to block it with either his left hand or both hands. So during the fight, Kell Brook should be setting that up. A steady, consistent jab to the body, forcing Amir Khan to get comfortable and start using his hands to block. And when he sees Amir Khan is doing that, then he should fake the left hand jab to the body and come with the overhand right. So the jab can be used for many things in this fight. It is going to be very important. The other thing Kell Brook, needs to do, another key to victory, is distance control. I think if Kell Brook can control the distance, then he can stop the attack or delay the attack or make Amir Khan double guess his attack by controlling distance. The minute Amir Khan moves or sets out to do an offense, he should half step, circle. Make Amir Khan has to reset, force him to reset. The other thing with controlling distance is he must force Amir Khan to move to the left. Do not let Amir Khan circle to the right. You want Amir Khan to feel comfortable and allow him to move, let Amir Khan move to his left. Amir Khan must go to the left, going towards Kell Brook's right hand. Not because he's necessarily trying to set up the right hand, but if you get him to move to the left, Amir Khan to move to the left, and you're jabbing to that body, you have a chance to land that overhand right. Okay, so do not let Amir Khan, circle to the right. You must control distance and force Amir Khan to move to the left. Now the third thing he needs to do, which is another key to victory, is counter punching. Now by controlling distance, Kell Brook will be able to counter punch. But he's got to control the distance, because if he is able to time Amir, when Amir is trying to do his offense, he half steps back. He can make Amir reach, and the minute Amir is reaching, then he should counter. Okay? Now, the other keys to victory that I believe Kell Brook does very well is his 1-2. If he is able to control distance and bring Amir to overreach, then he needs to land his 1-2. His 1-2 is very fast and very effective. Okay? Now, those is what I believe are the keys to victory for Kell Brook. A very good jab. He must jab to the body, trying to set up the overhand right. He must control distance. Once he controls distance, he can control Amir Khan's attack, and he can also set up his own counter with a 1-2. Now, and the 1-2 is going to be very, very important to him. Now, the other thing is, we know Kell Brook gets overwhelmed, but if he's able to control distance, that's not going to happen. If he doesn't control, if he goes in there with a hate and animosity and not to fight with good IQ, he can get into trouble. But if he's able to control distance, then he will be able to control that he doesn't get overwhelmed by Amir Khan. Because if he doesn't control the distance, and Amir Khan will, try to throw them 3, 4, 5, 6 shots, he will be overwhelmed. But if he's able to half step and control distance, then Amir Khan will be forced to reset, or he's going to end up reaching. And both will work in Kell Brook's favor. Now, you all let me know what you think. Okay, watch for my next video. I will be doing keys to victory for Amir Khan. Please comment and please subscribe to my channel. Okay, the other thing is this whole fight, as I said, will be dependent on the type of which Amir Khan shows up that night, but it also will depend on what Bomac plan is. If Bomac has a good plan, even these keys to victory for Kell Brook can become difficult. Okay, but still, it is the best option for Kell Brook, no matter what plan they come with, is to be able to implement what I think are the keys to his victory. Most important is the jab and controlling distance. Now, again, if you like what I put out, please subscribe to my channel, okay? And watch for my next video, which will be keys to victory for Amir Khan. I thank you all for watching and hope to see you all again. Please comment and let me know what you think. I always get back to you, okay? Thank you all. Thank you.